Hey guys, Stealth here and welcome back to Ultimate Admiral Dreadnoughts. Today it's myself back at the design controls as opposed to Tuesday with the Taskmaster challenge when my wife actually designed the ship. If you haven't watched that one, then please do, because I think you'll find it very amusing. And be sure to pull up the chat on the top right hand side if you weren't there for the actual, let's say the premiere, the semi-live part of the video. Anyway, today it is a very different era. It's not 1930, it's 1895. It is in fact June 1895, 5 years after the French successfully invaded the Germans. The French have also blockaded many of the German ports. Despite many attempts to crush the French fleet outside, the Germans have failed. They turn to you, the mastermind who created the Saint-Louis class, to design a super German dreadnought to crush the French fleet. When it is finished, you race into battle with the dreadnought, 3 heavy cruisers and 10 torpedo boats. You're met with a stronger fleet of the French, consisting of 2 dreadnoughts, 5 heavy cruisers and 8 torpedo boats. So I have slightly more torpedo boats, but these things, well, they tend to go down pretty easily. I have, I don't have a light cruiser actually, that's not supposed to be there. I have 3 heavies and a battleship. They have 1 more battleship and 2 more heavy cruisers. So this one dreadnought that I have is going to have a lot of work to do, and I have to design it. Now, before I start designing the ship, please check if you are actually subscribed to the channel, because to my great surprise, a lot of you aren't. Many of you seem to pick it up through the YouTube front page, but are not actually subscribed to the channel. Whereas that really does help me out. So if you're not subscribed, then please do me a favor and hit that subscribe button. Now, we have a couple options here. I'm not going to go with the CA and the TB, because I'm going to be designing the battleship. I can either go with a battleship that has a displacement of 8.5 to 11.5 or 12 to 17,000 tons. This just goes to show how much inflation there is in ship classes. Because this is 1895 and a battleship is considered 8,500 tons. If you were to go 1940, I think you could have a light cruiser that has that kind of displacement. And the battleship will have blossomed to about 10 times that displacement. Anyway, we're going to go with the Battleship 3. Whatever happened to the Battleship 2, I don't know. Maybe that's a different hull that's not published yet? I don't know. Anyway, let's start with making this thing bigger. Now, it is there to pose a threat to various different ship types, torpedo boats, heavy cruisers, and battleships alike. I'm trying, or at least that's my plan for now, to have the battleship be a sort of a turtle, which just blunders into range, providing a distraction, and in fact a much needed distraction for my torpedo boats, so they can get in, and those will be able to then do the damage that I need them to do, which will be the torpedo damage. Hold on, this is unusual. Normally, if you go for a higher armor tier, it lowers the weight of the armor. Here it doesn't. Iron plate armor is 14,383 tons. Harvey is 15,247. So it's heavier. Interesting. It does, however, have a 45% armor strength. So I would very much appreciate that boost in armor, especially since you're almost always, with this era, fighting at suicide range. And considering that there are torpedo boats about, I am probably going to get torped one way or another. Can save a little bit of weight here. Oil and semi-oil have not been invented yet. What's the engine efficiency currently? Yeah, 0%, because I haven't added a single funnel. 13%? Holy shit. I'm going to make this thing really slow. The reason being is that allows her to dodge torpedoes a bit easier. Turning circle is still 746. Jeez. It's still better than the almost kilometer that I had not too long ago. So 20 knots is all we have. That puts the engine efficiency at a blistering 25%. And now we're at 70. Right, main guns. We can go as high as 13-inch, Mark 1, Mark 1, Mark 1, Mark 1, and only the 9-inch guns are Mark 2. Okay, what's my armor belt? It's about 11 inch plus, let's say 50%. Let's round it up. That means that I have 16 inches of effective belt armor. And that's if I don't touch it. That would mean that the 9-inch gun, and I'm assuming here that the enemy ship has the same type of shielding, that this 9-inch gun just doesn't penetrate it at any range. At least not the main belt, but the belt extended, possibly. 10-inch might go through. 11-inch. It's not. Oh, it's a decent increase. Let's go for 11-inch guns. And that might give me the guns that I need and still give me... Yeah, there we go. We still have a bit of displacement left. We do, however, have a substantial aft weight offset here. And it's not like this turret has any kind of liberties to where it can go. Okay. Secondary guns. I'm trying to take down heavy cruisers, which... Sure, they're heavy cruisers, but basically they're very easily pennable. Because the heavy cruisers are not the same that you might imagine from 1940, in which case they can be very much a daunting prospect to fight. In this day and age, they're actually quite a bit more docile, so I think 6-inch guns can make quite a bit of difference here. Now, of course, ideally I would go like that. That would put me at 4 6-inch guns per side. But the problem is that they're too heavy. And I don't really see a decent way of reducing that without reducing maximum speed or bulkheads. I'm going to have to either sacrifice firepower or armament. Sorry, armor, not armament. And neither is particularly appealing. Can I stick with a 6-inch there and a 6 there? Yes. It gives me a decent firing arc. That can also... Hold on, we have casemate slots? Oh, here. Oh, hold on. These turrets are weighing me down 137 tons each. A casemate gun is only 94 tons. And we have those on the bow and the stern, right? Yeah, we have quite a few slots. Alright, this one's going to go on the bow. This one on the stern. And then I'm going to go with a couple of 4-inch guns. Faster rate of fire is my thinking here. Just to ensure that I have something that fires faster back at the torpedo boats. 3-inch guns. These are the Mark IIs, the 2-inch guns. Range 3.8. Not great. They weigh 5 tons. Considering the amount of torpedo boats that are coming at me, this could be a very useful weapon system. Okay, how many did I place down? I know I should be counting that, but the game does that for me. I have 14 2-inch guns, so that's 7 per side. Then I have 4 4-inch guns, 4 6-inch guns, and 4 11-inch guns. What else would be useful? I'm thinking armor, but it's going to be so tricky to put armor on this ship. Because it just goes up so fast. Let's go with a bit more turret armor. Sheesh. Okay, we're sticking to 6 inches of belt armor. I can go to 11.5 inches of belt. How about making this more of an all or nothing build? So putting about 12.5 inches of armor right on the belt, and the belt extended gets reduced. Normally I try to level these things out a bit, but for this type, maybe this is better. Enhanced loaders would shave off, what, 10%? 10% of the reload. So my reload on the main guns turns to 66 seconds, and over here we have 5 seconds and 19.5. Or 5, 6, 7, it's not too bad. Advanced hydraulic turrets? It's probably, yeah, it's way too heavy. More 2-inch guns then. They're not going to be terribly useful when it comes to fighting heavy cruisers. But if this battleship can blow away the torpedo boats, it at least means that the battleship's more likely to survive. Well, battleship, if you want to call it that. According to the game, it is a battleship, in fact. Right. This is the Siegfried. She has substantial weight issues, which I don't know how to balance. Short of trying to put another casemate in there. You know what, just for fun, let's see if that would fix it. 6-inch gun. A bit. Yeah, that's fine. Because that aft weight offset will kill the already pretty poor distribution of accuracy that I have. Alright, let's take the ship out to fight some French ships. I really hope the game is kind to me when it comes to building my torpedo boats, because these guys are probably going to be the ones that do the most damage to those battleships. The range is 20,000 meters, and that means we're going to be dancing in the dark for quite a bit. Especially as detection ranges are dreadful. Alright, these are my torpedo boats. I have many bulkheads, that's great. 29 knots, it's respectable for this era. And one single 16-inch torpedo tube with a range of 1.5 kilometers. Only 3 torpedoes per ship. I'm not surprised. That's the standard loadout. And if these things live long enough to reload and launch again, then that would be a very impressive feat. Now, what I want to do with these guys is set them in a line abreast formation to ensure that they can swarm the enemy. I have 4 here. I have another 2 here. Where are the other 2? Oh, sorry, the other 4, actually. Here. Alright. Line abreast. That way, please. I want the heavy cruisers. You know what? I'm going to use the formation system a bit more. We're going to be screening for the battleship. And I want all the heavy cruisers to do that. That's Div 2. Yeah, that's the entirety of Div 2. Formation, normal, spread, loose. And in this case, ahead doesn't matter much. Siegfried's going to be slugging along at a mere 20 knots. This one... Oh, these are even slower. Jesus. Your heavy cruisers are only doing 19 knots. They have 10-inch guns, though. Damn. Maximum bulkheads, too. The AI has been really kind. Pretty impressive amount of 5-inch secondaries. These are going to be fantastic against torpedo boats. I like it. Now, there is one little section of torpedo boats that I still have left. It's the guys over here, S4 and S9. Since I'm not very sure what to do with them yet, I'm going to tell them to follow the battleship. Not do much else. At least for now. If I were to split them up, it would take, especially S4 or S9, a long time to rejoin the other formation over there. As it's 8 kilometers away, so I'm just going to tell these guys to follow the battleship. The torpedo boats, I know you guys can do a significant amount of speed, but I don't want you to just yet. I hope the engine efficiency is high enough to actually climb back up to 29 knots. To climb back up to attack speed. And the enemy's been spotted to the north. So that's where we're going to go. Alright, let's see if the AI can figure out what sort of formation I want. Heavy cruisers are turning to starboard. Atlantis, York, and Bavaria. I'm going to have the torpedo boats in a sort of a holding pattern until I know where the enemy is. S1, 2, 5, and 6 are forming up. I want you guys in a normal formation. Try not to interrupt the formation that the heavy cruisers are trying to set up. Because I would rather like the heavy cruisers to just get into position first. Maybe for the torpedo boats a tight spread or a tight formation is better. Who's leading this thing? Sierra 8. Ah, there you are. The other torpedo boats are going, what the hell do you want, dude? Stop moving so erratically. Just tell me what you want. Well, we're gonna go that way. That's what I want. The other guys, I want you to be in a tight formation as well, under the command of Sierra 1. And we're going to continue steaming north. So, torpedo boat squadron 8. And torpedo boat squadron 1. AKA divs 4 and 5. I really want them to engage the battleship first, them being the French fleet, to ensure that I don't have to rush these torpedo boats into their death early on. So I'm just going to have them in a sort of a holding pattern until the battleship makes contact. Something has spotted the Siegfried. And whatever that something is, it's not keen to see it, because it's already opening up. The heavy cruisers are attempting to screen, but seemingly struggling to assume the right position around the battleship. Ah, we found them. That's a heavy cruiser. Holy shit, what sort of guns do you have? Two dual 11-inch guns? On a heavy cruiser? Good lord. I have 11-inch guns on my battleship. Okay. Heavy cruiser group. New plan. Maximum speed. More. Yep, there we go. That's a torpedo boat right there. Open up. Secondaries. 6-inch guns and 4-inch guns. Have some fun. Make sure that that thing doesn't get any closer than about 2 kilometers. Because that's probably when she's going to become an issue with her torpedoes. And for now, just continue steaming directly towards the fleet. Since you're now solo, I can do that at slightly better speed. Torpedo boats 4 and 9 follow. And torpedo boat group 1 follow in. It's div 4, div 5. Hold. Don't engage yet. And I know I'm making life very difficult for these torpedo boats. I'm going to slow down Sierra 8 so that Sierra 7, 10 and 3 can rejoin the formation in a slightly better place. Heavy cruisers. Open up against the torpedo boat. This is when all of those 5-inch casemates are going to come in very useful. You just have to be careful not to get blown out of the water by the battleships. Speaking of, what do we have here? A battleship with 2 12-inch dual turrets, 10 3-inch guns, 6 6-inch guns, and another 2 3-inch guns. That's a very heavily armed battleship. Alright. So my battleship's going to have to turn that way. Range is only 6.5 clicks. That's your new target. Maybe I can cut them off here. And my heavy cruisers, to some extent, and it's not great, to some extent might be able to turtle some of the damage. Might be able to tank some. Of course, at this point, nobody's hit anything, because the accuracy is just terrible in this era. There we go. Sabre. Oh, sorry, Sabre. Torpedo range 1 click. Speed pretty quick. 38 knots. And more torpedo boats are coming in. Heavy cruiser group. Turn to port. Because they have a load of these torpedo boats. And they need to go quickly. Minimum bulkheads. So just sneeze in their direction and watch them flood. There we go. That's the first one. That was a proper sneeze. 40% buoyancy. Anti-flood hasn't been invented yet, so it's just a whole bunch of very dedicated sailors hosing away, trying to get the water out of the boat. But as we've seen in a previous video of this era, these things are remarkably survivable. I don't know how they do it, but I've seen them almost submerge, so just flood, and then come right back from the dead. Look at that. Buoyancy back up to 70%. This is a torpedo boat. This is not some sort of... Look at that. This is pre-anti-flood era, right? Not a problem. Not a single problem. Torpedo group. I need you to go there. The other torpedo boat group. Ooh. Nice. The Carnot. Minimum bulkheads is flooding. That was a good hit from the Siegfried. She might not have bigger guns, but she might be able to still inflict enough flooding damage on the Carnot to put her out of action. At this point, my formation, which was somewhat carefully crafted, has become an utter mess. Formation York, follow. Sierra 1. Oh, your formation is everywhere. All over the place. Lovely. Alright, it's now going to be torpedo boat versus torpedo boat. Sabre sinks. Carnot is still half flooded. We sunk her before she was able to get her torpedoes away. That's good. Another torpedo boat starting to take damage. The Sabre T6. We still have 2 torpedo boats following the Siegfried. That's Sierras 4 and 9. And I could have those rush out and engage the enemy fleet. Formation loose. Full ahead flank. York, move in. They don't have torpedoes, but neither do the French. At least not on their battleships. Is the Carnot stuck? No, she's not quite stuck, but she's not moving very quickly either. Excellent. Nice to see those French smokestacks out in the distance. Range of engagement is about 3 kilometers. And we're still struggling to hit. Lovely. Now, how broadside do I want to go? Preferably not too much. Chance to pen me is 33%. Chance to pen you is 32%. So we're about even. The Sierra 1 torpedo boat squadron. Loose formation. That torpedo boat's going to have some issues. Another flooding. Full ahead flank. My whole rush in with a torpedo boat line abreast is pretty much out the window. It's not going to work. Sierra 8 has taken some damage. Ooh, the Carnot also has some really impressive anti-flooding. Yeah, anti-flood 1. I want the Sabre T6 to sink. She's getting in the way a bit here. Their heavy cruisers, Imprenable and Victor Hugo, are sticking in the back. Not really sure why. Because you could argue that those are the ones that should keep these, these torpedo boats of mine shepherded away from the enemy battleships. But they're not doing it. Oh, I gotta be careful with this guy. Come on, sink the T6. So far, Siegfried has taken some hits, but no damage. As of yet. Where the fuck are my torpedo boats? Here. 8, 7, 3, and 10. Alright. Just rush towards the enemy now. What's the T4's capability? Was that a 1-click? 1-click. Understood. I'm still hoping to sink the T6 quickly. But I'm very much at risk of getting torpedoed by the French torpedo boats. I mean, I know that's their purpose. That's their job. And I should be able to steer away from any torpedoes that try to get close to me. Like that. But that was actually a little bit later, or rather... I was hoping to sink the thing before it launched. They only have one torpedo tube, so it should be fine. Carnot, 0 flooding left. That's both impressive and pretty intimidating, considering how poorly she was doing. Let the T6 get handled by the torpedo boats and the heavy cruisers. And the battleship, the Siegfried, is going to take out the T1. Or at least that's the plan. In the meanwhile, torpedo boat 8 is rushing in, trying to get a torpedo hit on the Voltaire. There we go. She's down. Now, she was sort of screening the Sierra 1, making sure that the T3 didn't launch, as the risk of friendly fire was too great. But that friendly fire risk has suddenly diminished with the sinking of the T6. So it is very likely that the T3 and the T2, especially T3, will try to torpedo me now. And speaking of torpedoing, I am in range of Voltaire. So let's give these guys the green light on the torpedo tube, which is probably mounted all the way in the back. Yep, it's all the way in the back. We're going to have to turn much, much more to port in order to launch those torpedoes. The T1 is a burning wreck. It looks worse than it is. You see 3 fires here, but if you look at the chart, it actually says only 2. And the damage is, well, pretty negligible, I would say. There we go. Sierra 8 has launched her torpedo. Voltaire immediately detects that. And Voltaire has a turning circle of 473, so it is possible that she's capable of dodging that. The other torpedo boats are still pretty much engaged in a decent range firefight with the T3 and the T2. T3 still hasn't launched. I'm not sure if that torpedo is going to hit the Voltaire. She's definitely trying to get the hell out of there. Siegfried, almost 2 kilometers out, 1.9 clicks, chance to pen 45, but I'm heavily angled. Yeah, your chance to pen me is 31. Wow, you took a really large chunk of damage, but not a single flooding. There we go, you did flood the Voltaire. Great job. That's a lot of fires that she has. Now, by the way, in case you're wondering who the hell sent the scenario in, I don't know. Whoever sent it in didn't sign it. There was no name. Okay, Voltaire could be flooding. And even the heavy cruisers at this range, with their 10-inch guns, stand a pretty decent chance to finish off the Voltaire. So let's have the heavy cruisers engage this one. And with the secondaries, engage that one. Ooh, Sierra 8... did a good amount of damage, but might pay for it with its life. %, buoyancy, 0.2, 1%. Sabre T1 sinks, but so does that ship. Alright, now it's time for you guys to come charging out. Switch fire to the Voltaire. Turn to port. York, turn to port. So far, I'm doing a remarkably high amount of damage against the French. This battle is going far better than I'd expected. Because they had more battleships. But it looks like the AI just wasn't quite sure how to work them. For some reason or another. Come on, Voltaire. Take the hint. Tabor T2 sinks. Oh, the whole ship was burning. Yep, I imagine that's going to cause you some harm. Angle chance is not great for the battleship. Damage to the secondary tower. I'm really hoping that the Sierra 4 can rush in and do another torpedo attack on the Voltaire. And I still have some other torpedo boats over there. And the other group is closing in on the battleship, but they're currently also... Oh. At risk of getting torpedoed. You. That's 5. Detach 5. Oh, you launched your torp. Okay. It's not quite what I was expecting you to do. It's not exactly welcome, because if others did that, then they might have run out of torpedoes or not have one loaded. Okay, I'm fine. What about you? You have made a course correction sufficient to not be at risk anymore. Okay, I'm gonna hand this one off to... What the fuck? I'm not gonna hand this one off to the AI. I thought that if I handed it off to the AI, it was just gonna carry on with its duty and maneuver towards the other 2 torpedo boats here and take them out. Not quite. Not quite, because what it did was try to turn around entirely. Voltaire is heavily flooded, burning in several compartments, but not dead yet. Siegfried, we're going to turn starboard. Oh shit. She's been too heavily damaged, and she wants to disengage. I understand why, I just don't want you to do it yet. Oh, that could sink the torpedo boat before she gets a chance to launch that torpedo. Turn. Come on, buddy. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Launch it. Torpedo tube can't turn that fast. Life on the high seas. It's never a dull moment on a torpedo boat. Come on. That torpedo tube is still functional, yes? Yes, it is. Range, 800 meters. Launch when ready. Anytime now. You want to switch to the Carnot? Is that better for you? Siegfried preparing to board the Voltaire. If only something like that was possible. Sierra 4 still holding fire. Probably at risk of launching against the Siegfried. And she's not eager to do that. These guys, their heavy cruisers are a threat. At maximum bulkheads and with sizable guns, they can inflict a substantial amount of damage. Torpedo away from the S4. Siegfried, switch fire to the Carnot, because I don't know how that battleship would survive another torpedo. Over here, the rest of the fleet seems to be doing fine. Looks like we've cleaned up a few of the other torpedo boats. The S1 can now continue on her course. Voltaire is pretty much dead in the water and is about to eat another torpedo towards bow/midships. Siegfried has been shot at almost 600 times, but very little of that has actually hit her. And she seems to be just perfectly dishing out the damage. Who are the real damage dealers, though? The 10-inch guns? What do you mean, the heavy cruisers? Yes. Heavy cruiser York, with her 10-inch gun, did 747 damage. The Siegfried, with her 11-inch guns, did less, at 527. Now, let's see if the heavy cruisers can square off against each other. Chance to pen him is 70%. Their chance to pen me is higher. But I probably reload slightly faster. Whoa, not even slightly. A lot. 36 seconds versus 66 seconds. Oof. But then again, I only have 2 single 10-inch guns, and they have 4 11-inch guns. So they have substantially more firepower. Alright, S4. I'm going to allow you to retreat. You have fought very bravely. Sierra 9, you can still move in. These guys move here. You move here. I'm banking on the Sierra 9 to actually do some torpedo damage, slowing the ship down, and allowing my other ships to catch up and do more damage. That's the plan. And the heavy cruisers are currently in a gun duel. Accuracy 16%, accuracy 27% on the Victor Hugo. Problematic. Problematic. Because these things hit a lot harder than mine. This is 297 damage, sorry, no, 92 damage per gun versus my 73. Missed. I'm probably going to need a different ship class to deal with those heavy cruisers. And I'm thinking it's going to be the Battleship. Because the torpedo boats are not going to have a great time trying to engage that ship. Another flooding on the York. Oh, this ship is so angled against the Sierra 9 here. The 4 is limping away at 6 knots. Sierra 7 that way with the rest of your formation insofar as it's still intact. Well, we're just going to have to chance it. Range 800 meters. The Carnot only needs to turn to starboard in order to cleanly avoid this torpedo. But with the current angle that I have, I'm hoping that if I don't hit the Carnot, I might hit the Imprenable behind her. Torpedo is away from Sierra 9. In case you're wondering, I know they're called S9 and S8 and whatever, but it's just easier to say Sierra in my case. Where's that torpedo at? Oh, here. They probably instantly detected that. Imprenable did. But what are you going to do about it? Because detecting it is one thing. But then actually avoiding it is another. And it looks like the Carnot will pull that off. Or is she? It's going to get really close. No, she might get hit. Because she's probably not able to turn starboard thanks to that heavy cruiser in the way. Yeah, this looks like a bow hit. Boom. Excellent. Now I have an opportunity to sandwich them. Torpedo boats from one side, heavy cruisers as well, and the battleship Siegfried from the other. Carnot doing very poorly, flooding to 40%. 36% buoyancy now. 31%. The rest of the torpedo boats increase the flank speed. The Sierra 9 might be able to get away from here, and I wanted the Sierra 7 and her whole fleet to go to, or division, go to full speed. So we can maybe catch this heavy cruiser. Carnot is getting battered from every which way. Buoyancy 16%, but as we have seen, that is not a guarantee that she sinks. Because more often than not, they're able to just, I don't know, make some sort of long line of sailors and hose out all the water. Let's put the secondaries in the Imprenable because I don't expect the 6.4 and 2-inch guns to do much against the battleship. Oof. This one's starting to take some serious damage. She's still here for now, and I think it's the maximum bulkheads, which are, or many bulkheads, which are keeping her propped up. Just hope it's enough for a while. Carnot still at 16%. Still fighting a flooding. Chance to pen? 30%? How much belt armor do you have? 10 inches. With a 48% modifier, so effectively 15, shall we say? Yeah, which means I have to be within a 1 kilometer, and I cannot have too much of a ricochet chance. Okay. So this should be able to go through then, right? Ricochet chance is decent. Fire. It's not what I was hoping for. Maybe the 2 can finish off this battleship. Yep, she already launched a torpedo. Carnot is, there we go again. Bringing our buoyancy back up to 29%. Now that torpedo from the 2 can run for about 1.5 kilometers, which means that if it does not strike the Carnot, it could continue traveling and eventually pose a risk to the Siegfried, but I really don't expect that. Because with 2 damaged engines and a hull full of water, I don't think that that ship is capable of going anywhere soon. There we go. That's the flooding that I wanted. And that's the second battleship dead. Now it's the Imprenable's turn to get damaged. There's another torpedo out there. Might have been from the S5. Now these guys had 5 heavy cruisers, and so far I have sunk none. Ooh. That looked uncomfortable. Yeah, she's dead. Now, so far I have sunk 1. But there are supposedly still 4 more out there. There's another one. 7 clicks out. I think they're all running. Maybe with the loss of the battleship, the game doesn't quite know how to use these heavy cruisers now. 236 meter turning circle. Yikes. I need to be right on this guy before I launch a torpedo at him. Because anything beyond point blank range will probably get dodged. And the 5 and the 3-inch guns are feverishly trying to keep the torpedo boat away from the heavy cruiser. So far, unsuccessfully. Range, 1 click. 1.9. I just think it might survive a torpedo. Here we go. No! No, 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 no! Don't start to fall back now. You're so close to your objective. Torpedo is away. Now you can turn back. My heavy cruisers are sort of trying to cut off the Victor Hugo here. Although at maneuvering 17 knots, I'm not really sure how much cutting off I can do with that ship. It's not like it's going to instantly turn. Oh, look at that. They definitely detected the torpedo, but they're not turning. Maximum bulkheads. I wonder how sturdy they've built this ship. There goes the S7. That was the one that attacked the Victor Hugo. Look at that. Flooding doesn't seem that bad. Now I'm going to do similar torpedo attacks against the other heavy cruisers. Buoyancy is going down. She's isolated and hurting. Let's finish her off. There's another heavy cruiser. Did I already sink all of the torpedo boats? Really? Because I know I sunk a decent amount of them, but I didn't think I'd sunk all of them so far. But it's been a while since I saw any of them. Don't launch unless otherwise directed. Let's try and zigzag a little bit. 06, disengage. Or at least detach. Battleship, chance to pen. Should be around 80. 99. Okay. We're going to race towards the Tournant. At 29 knots, so their engine efficiency is good. Zigzag. Range 1.2. Torpedo when ready. 1. Torpedo away. Tournant is already turning away. Maybe I torpedoed just a bit too early. But I have one more torpedo, and that is the S6 itself. So this German sailor is gonna have a pretty rough time of it. Ooh, really? Really? Oh, hit. Come on. Be the torpedo you want to see in the world. That was that quote, right? right? No? Must be just me then. Come on. She's too fast. Although my engines are getting fixed. 15 knots. 16 knots. Come on. Charge. 17 knots. How fast can the torpedo still go? Uh-oh, more flooding. No! Steady. Boat's still flooding. Speed's dropping again. We're going to be doing 7 knots. Depending on how quickly they can pump out the water. But these 3-inch guns are having a feast on the S6. Look at that. She's barely flooding. Yeah, I don't think that the S6 is going to be able to ram that ship. But Siegfried is here. Turn to port. Tonon continues to flood. Ooh, ammo detonation on the S6. Alright, Sierra 1. It's time to move you towards the Sully. How are you not gone yet? Because the Victor Hugo also seems to be dead in the water. But not that dead. Switch to high explosive fire. I want to have a high explosive 11-inch salvo against that heavy cruiser. Unfortunately, the stern battery is going to take a while to turn around. If they can even pull it off. Starting to flood. Maximum bulkhead should take care of that. Yeah, all of the secondary armament just shatters on the belt. We've opened up another flooding. Oh shit. Oh, hold. I didn't realize you were this close already. Come on, come on, come on. Get the torpedo away. Quick. Because you don't really get a second opportunity around this cruiser. Torpedo is away. Good luck dodging that, Sully. It's going to be a very tough challenge for you to do. Right amidships. Sierra 1 did go down. Then again, that's why you have these disposable torpedo boats. I wonder what that's going to be like in the campaign. If you could just have a rush of torpedo boats meet any kind of a threat that you see out there. Of course, it'll only work to some extent. Because after a while, the torpedo boats just become... well, not necessarily extinct. I mean, I'll take care of their extinction. It's more that they just become obsolete. Oh. You flooded. Okay, I'll take it. Tonon is still having some issues with flooding. But her efforts to counter that flooding are substantial. She's impressive at staying alive. I think she did better than that battleship. Look at that, she already took 1.2k damage. For a heavy cruiser, that's very respectable. Now, time to finish off the Victor Hugo. She still has a lot of ammunition left. She does have 2 flooded compartments, and she's working on a 3rd. I would ideally hit her bow. Oh, that helps. That helps a lot. Yeah, now you're going to be toast. That one turret popping off and causing a lot of floodings, that's what sunk the ship. Alright, Tonon, you're going to have a rapid visit from the Sierra 3. If you're still here by then. Just wanted to pop in and torpedo you and then pop back out. Unfortunately, the secondary guns have taken, and even the main gun, have taken an interest in this torpedo boat. Looks like she's dead slow at this point. Wow, the torpedo boat has almost fired all of her 4-inch ammunition. Okay. That's an accomplishment. There we go, torpedo is away. At least she's not going to go down with a whole bunch of unused ammo. Is that torpedo going to kill you? Yeah, that should do it. 3 compartments get ripped open. The ship starts to flood on the stern compartments. Buoyancy quickly filling. Sailors getting washed off the ship. And there's the tonneau gone. So that should... No, it doesn't conclude the battle. Because there's still more to the east. But I'm not going to hunt those down. I'm going to proclaim victory here for the Germans. I hope that the French have learned a lesson. Don't blockade the German ports. Because if you do, well, you might lose a couple of ships. Especially due to the torpedo boats. The torpedo boats took severe losses. I'll definitely grant you that. We got... How many do we have alive? Actually, a lot more than I'd expected. I lost 5 torpedo boats. But with the other 5, and of course the other ships, I was able to sink 2 battleships and at least 3 heavy cruisers. And I think 5 or 6 torpedo boats. So, yeah, I'd call that a substantial victory. 13,000 damage done. 8,500 damage taken. Not too bad. I hope you guys enjoyed the battle. I really like these changes of pace from the 1940 violence that you see on the other channels, or on the other vids. Hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what your thoughts are down below in the comments, and I'll see you soon for another video.